Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make an entire character sheet using TTRPG Sheets. I'll be making a sheet for D&D 5th edition, but the widget creation process should translate well to any system. I'm going to start off by making an ability score widget. To create a widget, right-click anywhere on your character sheet and click the Create Widget button. This will bring up the widget editor. To create an ability score, I'm first dragging over a box. This will serve as a background for our ability score's name. By clicking on a widget, you bring up its modifiers, including these resizing handles. I'm dragging the bottom right corner to resize the box. Clicking on this square icon will bring up the box's border modifiers. I'm going to click on this color picker bubble in the center to change the box's border color. The input on the left controls the box's border width, and the input on the right, as well as the slider below, controls the roundedness of the box's edges. I'm going to set them both to 2 pixels. The green box icons above determine which parts of the border these actions apply to. Since they are all green, they are all selected, so what I'm doing applies to the entire border. You can click on these icons to select or deselect them. This color picker bubble lets you change the box's background color. I'm going to set it to a dark gray. Now I'm going to drag over a text widget. You can double-click on this widget to edit the text. I'm going to type out the longest ability name, Constitution, to make sure all of the other ability names will fit when we use this widget later. To change the style of the text, you can click on the T icon. The styles you modify here will apply to whichever portion of the text you have selected. I'm changing the font size, the font, and the color. I'm also centering the text. Now, I'm going to resize the box again to make sure the text fits nicely inside it. These green lines that pop up help you position widgets in relation to each other by snapping the widget you're moving to either the side or center of a nearby widget. You can turn them on or off by clicking on the info icon in the bottom left corner of the editor. I'm using a text input for the ability score's bonus field. These inputs that are below the green selection box control the widget's size and position, and you can edit them directly. I'm styling this widget's border the same way I styled the box's border. The text modifiers are a little different though. They apply to all of the text contained within the widget, rather than just the selected portion of the text. This button in the bottom right is the Send to Back button. Clicking on this will move the selected widget one layer back. I'm doing this because I want the ability score bonus to be behind the text I created earlier. I'm also going to use a text input widget for the ability score's score. Instead of dragging over a new text input, I'm going to copy this one by selecting it, then hitting Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V. Now all I have to do is resize it and change the font size. And that's our ability score widget. Now, I'm going to use the automatic calculations feature to automatically update the ability score bonus when the ability score is changed. Feel free to skip this and other AutoCalc segments if you don't want to worry about automating your character sheet. To start off, I'll click on the smaller box and give it a name. I'm putting a period at the beginning of the name to make this a local tag name. This means that the tag name can only be used within the widget. This will be helpful when I duplicate this widget, so the duplicates won't reference the original's values. Next, I'll go to the larger box's automatic calculations menu and either type or drag in the following calculation, .score / 2 minus 5. This means that the bonus will evaluate to the score divided by 2, rounded down to the nearest integer, minus 5. So, a score of 10 would become 0, a score of 5 would become minus 3, and a score of 20 would become 5. I'm going to add another calculation in front of this one that will add a plus sign to the bonus if it's a positive number. If .score is greater than or equal to 10, then plus sign, else nothing. If I surround both equations with parentheses, then add a plus sign between them, they will be concatenated. Now our widget is finished, so let's name it, save it, and test it out. There are 3 different save options: Create only means that the widget will be added to your sheet, but won't be saved to your widget list. Save only means that it will be saved to your widget list, but it won't be added to the sheet. Create and save means that the widget will be added to both the sheet and your widget list. This is also what the normal save button does. Now we need a few more of these widgets. Since I've saved the widget, all I need to do is go to the Choose Widget menu and add another, then change the ability score name. I can also just duplicate the widget. When it comes to positioning your widgets, there are 3 different movement options. Freeform allows you to move them normally. Snap to Grid makes sure your widgets follow a 10 by 10 pixel grid, and no movement means you can't move your widgets. This is useful if you don't want to change your layout on accident. You can see that the automatic calculation is working. Now, I'm going to make 4 more of these. You can edit a widget by right-clicking it on the sheet, then clicking the Edit Widget button. I'm going to change the ability score name to Strength, then save it. There are some new save modes available now. Save as New creates a new copy of the widget on the sheet instead of replacing the old one, and it also saves a copy to your widget list. Replace Current Only just changes the widget on the sheet. Save Only just changes the copy you have in your widget list. Finally, Replace Current and Save changes both the widget on the sheet and the copy you have in your widget list. This is also what the normal save button does. Now, I'm going to change the names for the rest of these. I want to create a skills widget next, but before I do that, I'm going to make a custom checkbox that represents a character's proficiency level in a skill. To do this, I'll need to use the multi-stage widget. I'm going to have 4 different stages for this widget. 1 to represent no proficiency, or an empty circle, 1 to represent proficiency, or a full circle, 1 to represent expertise, or a full circle with a ring around it, and 1 to represent half proficiency, or a semicircle. I could create all these stages ahead of time by pressing this plus button here, or I could create my empty circle first, then click the duplicate icon to create a new stage that also has the circle in the exact same spot. To make a circle, you can take a box and increase its border radius all the way up. I'm placing the circle completely within the multi-stage widget's border. Then I'm pressing this button here to duplicate it. Since we duplicated the stage, all we have to do now is set the circle's background color. For the expertise stage, I'll copy the circle, fill it in and make it smaller, and then put it in the center of the first circle. For the half proficiency stage, I'm going to make a semicircle. I'll round 2 corners of a box all the way, then add a background color and rotate it a bit before putting it inside the first circle. Now we have our checkbox. I also want to make a proficiency widget for use in automatic calculations. This isn't anything new. I'm using the ability score widget as a base, removing the smaller text input, and renaming things. Don't forget to remove the automatic calculation from the big text input. I'm also naming the text input for use later. There's no period in front of this name, so it can be used in other widgets' calculations. Finally, let's get started on that skills widget. I'm using a text widget for each skill name, a text input for the skill bonus, and the custom checkbox for the proficiency level. Once that's laid out, I'll click and drag to select all of the widgets, then I'll put them on top of this box. Then, I'll copy and paste it a bunch. Now that that's done, I'll rename all of the skills. And that's our skills widget. Now it's time to set up the automatic calculations. First, I need to add global tag names to the ability scores I made. Now, I need to give each proficiency checkbox a unique tag name so they can be used in the automatic calculations. For the calculation itself, I'm going to check the checkbox's stage number, then add the relevant portion of the proficiency bonus to the relevant ability score bonus. To simplify the calculation, which would otherwise be a bunch of if statements, I'm going to create a proficiency bonus table. Each entry in the table will correspond to one of the values the proficiency checkbox can represent. The first entry will be 0, the second will be the proficiency bonus, the third will be 2 times the bonus, and the fourth will be half the bonus rounded down. This table will automatically update when the proficiency bonus is changed. I'm going to hide this table behind the skills widget by shift-clicking the Send to Back button, then putting it behind the big box. For the calculation, I can now put prof table, index, acroprof 1. This gets the value of a cell from the proficiency table, determined by the row, which in this case is the acroprof, and the column, which is 1. The acroprof will always be a number between 1 and 4, corresponding to the checkbox's current stage. I'm testing this part out to make sure it's working, then I'm going to add the dex bonus to it. Make sure to surround both of these values with the numeric tag to make sure they're treated as numbers. Otherwise, the two numbers might be concatenated rather than added. I'm going to transfer this calculation to a different text input that I will later hide. This is so that I can easily check if this value is a positive number, so I know if I should add a plus sign to it. The plus sign calculation is very similar to the ability score calculation. Time to do this for the rest of the skills. This might take a while. Now that that's all done, we can test it out. I think I'll end it there for now. Next time, I'll finish up the basic character sheet, but this should give you a solid foundation for making a sheet of your own. Happy creating!